As with everything, what is recorded and what is written will remain, will be passed on to those who will read and watch. But what is not written or recorded will be forgotten. It will be forgotten all the personal interactions we had when we talk. All the various teachings that are just said once for a specific purpose and then forgotten. Okay. So, you notice this decoration is not the one of my office. I'm actually in a hotel room because I'm driving from Quebec to El Paso, and we are Wednesday today. And I got myself a room with an internet connection through wire instead of Wi-Fi, so that I would be more comfortable to give a teaching from the hotel room. I didn't want anyone to miss the 9-week initiation. I don't want to interrupt the process, but still I want to travel. And I didn't want to travel by plane, because traveling by car in this situation is much cheaper. It allows me to give even more free services to those who don't have financial means to follow the studies. So that's why the environment is slightly different from the usual. Okay. It is nonetheless recorded on video, and you'll have a video to watch again. All right. It doesn't change that I've been spending, let's say, half of my day absorbed in spiritual practice, and half of my day listening to humor and stupid things, which is good. As for you guys, you spent 1 week doing the practices of Sha, and you've been looking at yourself to identify justification. How I hope you did your homework. The justification of trying to explain, why do you do this, why do you do that, hoping that people will love you. Okay, I understand justification. You've also been practicing the experience of incarnation of Siddhi to bring the power into the body and to have a perfect health mentally, emotionally, at the life level and the physical level through the avatar process. How was the Siddhi? The Siddhi was bringing you to an elevated state? Was it making you transcend? It's okay. Today, the 5th week of this 9-week experience, will address the heart and the concept of authenticity. Authenticity is an idea made in an ego's mind. I am authentic. Well, what is authentic? Usually authentic for the ego is having a mask, is displaying yourself in a certain manner that looks and feels natural. But however natural it looks and feels, plastic grass is plastic grass. It's not real grass. Okay? So what is authenticity? It is being responsible for what you are inside. It is to be in charge of your experience. To be authentic is to accept how you live life. Now, some of you I know would not like their environment to know how spiritual they are. They are afraid that it would hinder their relationship at work. Well, maybe it would, so shut up. But let's say among friends or in family, are you hiding your spirituality because of shame? Now, to know if you're authentic and responsible, or if you're not authentic and in shame, you have to ask yourself, how would it feel to talk of my point of view of spirituality to a few people. I mean, if your parents really don't want to hear anything about that, and you know your parents to be that way, why would you go and bother them? Don't go bother people who don't want to listen to you about these topics. Of course not. But what about the people that would be available? Some people say, oh, this person is my friend, this person is my lover, this person is someone I love to chat with. And they want to know you, at least they pretend to, but you can't speak about your spirituality? That's weird. Authenticity. Did you appreciate meeting someone such as me? Do you appreciate when you have the opportunity to reach a teacher of spirituality, a spiritual master, someone that took the time to do therapy with you, someone who listened to you and shared about the higher experience of happiness and suffering, about integration of emotions? Are you happy about that? If you appreciate meeting me or the other masters you studied with, how arrogant is it to prevent other people from meeting you? Because you would not be authentic, because you would be ashamed of opening yourself spiritually to other people. Now, if you can't open yourself at work because of the etiquette, the political situation, rules about respect of other people's religion, about all this concept in our society where you cannot address something of an intimate nature, such as your relationship with God or with the Buddha, because, well, you can't bother people with that. Well, just don't address the situation with these words. Don't say God, don't say Buddha, don't say consciousness. But what about people who say, I'm depressed? And you would tell them, well, okay, I can't say breathe to feel the love of God, but how about breathe to feel better? Okay, let's start with that. Well, you could try to breathe to feel better, you know. How do you feel? Talk to them like if it was a mundane topic. Okay, don't make it dramatic. You're suffering? Someone tells you that they don't feel so good, that they're depressed. Ah, you're depressed? Oh, that's too bad. No, just go about it naturally, authentic. How do you deal with depression? You, advanced students, how do you deal with that? You would go inside, you would feel what goes on. So what prevents you to tell them without addressing specifically the spiritual dictionary? Hey, you told us that you feel depressed. Did you ever try just breathing deeply in your abdomen and go feel the emotion that are there? Maybe your emotions are just trying to tell you something, and your depression will not go away if you don't listen. Okay, did I speak about God? Did I just say words that are inappropriate? I gave you an example that you can address spirituality and make it look like you were just addressing therapy or self-help, okay? Or just giving good counseling to friends or people at work. There is always a way to allow other people, out of pure charity, to become aware that there is a way out of suffering. Are you authentic? If you keep silent, is it because of shame? Or is it because you obey laws? Or is it because you're lousy? Maybe you're lousy. Maybe you don't want to help others. Well, if you're happy that some people were available for you to discover a new level of wisdom to become happy and to grow in power, in simplicity and humility, and feel the grace of your soul and the grace of the one consciousness. If you are so happy that you could encounter that, why do you keep silent so much? And of course, in our society, it would bother people if you would start to run around telling about God and Buddha and consciousness and whatever your religious approach to spirituality. Of course, you can't say those things. But what about the smile and the little comment here? Someone asks you, are you doing good? And instead of saying, yes, and you could answer something out of the ordinary. I'm blissful. I'm so happy. And you? And they would react. They would answer, probably not. Well, depends on who you ask. And you? Are you good? And some people would be shocked. You're blissful? What is that? Oh, I was so depressed a while ago, and I spent time just sinking into depression consciously and wanting to discover what was at the bottom of this, and I became so happy. That's weird, eh? Yeah, I know some of you don't have the courage to do this, but would you? Would you have the courage to be authentic, to speak naturally to people around you, out of the respectable framework, out of the politically correct range of speech you can have? You understand what I mean? The fact that you do everything to hide your spirituality to others prevents other people from becoming aware that they could find an experience of happiness if they wanted to. Now, it's not your job to save people. So don't start to run around and talk to any random person. But if you're close enough to someone, family and friends and people like that, and they don't want to know any gibberish about your religious or spiritual activities, they don't care about that. But they do care about if you're going fine, and they want to tell you that they feel not so good, and sometimes they do. You know, your parents would say, well, it's life. You know, find a way to address them in a way that they would not react. Find an expedient mean to open up spiritually. If you keep your spirit for yourself, if you keep your soul hidden inside you, you will suffer at one point, because you will feel everything to be worthless. You will be under the impression that nothing is worth anything. And if an authentic smile would be enough to the cashier at the grocery store, yes, thank you so much, instead of just saying, yeah, thank you, have a good one, bye, and just leave, you know, thank you so much. And be happy. In the state of consciousness that you are developing, this happiness will strike them. It will put them off balance. It will make them fall into states of insecurity and suffering. It will provoke them to want to know what the heck was that smile. Because my soul felt another soul and something happened. If you simply go ahead authentically, if you project with arrogance, oh yes, I'm happy, and want to, you know, just too much is too much. You have to find a way to just settle down and be authentic, and stop keeping your soul hidden in your own fortress. Charity is not something that you do with money, it's an attitude. And you share everything starting with the attitude. You share your attitude. The first thing that people do in society is copy the attitude that they prefer. People imitate others until we believe, oh, they are like this themselves. You know? But this is all gained through the conditioning of youth, childhood and teenagers, that just imitate everyone who has something that makes them feel like, oh, maybe that's a better way to do. Maybe that's a better way to talk. An expression that gives self-importance, an expression that gives a feeling of worth. in other crowds, it's those who are most competent in displaying how worthless they are. You know, some people like, well, a while ago there was the grunge style, where people had to be suicidal and depressed because that was so cool. Of course, a bunch of them died, so this tradition did not last. Happy for us who love to just be in a state of joy and natural. Are you authentic? Are you sharing? Or are you just hiding? Some people saw me purchase something at a grocery store. Some of you saw me go to a shop, go in public, and start to chat random with someone. Of course, I don't go provoke people, but I wait. If someone shows sign, if someone wants to address me. Yesterday I was sitting in a restaurant just eating my little lettuce, and someone sat close and said, "Don't worry, I won't give you my card. It's not a card." I saw that this lady wanted to find a way to open up and share. So instead I said, "Oh, don't worry," and just keeping eating my lettuce. "Oh, you just," I mean, I didn't say this. I just thought, you are just giving me an opportunity to send you happiness through apparently normal communication. So I said, "Oh, you won't give it to me. Why not? It's not contagious, so it's not a virus. What is it then?" You know, we start to talk about her chronic cough. It's a sickness in the throat, and blah, blah. She had this for years, so it's not a virus. And I start to give comments about other things. And then I start to talk to the husband of that woman. And we start to laugh. Okay? And because they get involved in a natural conversation with someone like me, and it would be someone like you also, they start to grasp this feeling of light, and it pushes them to want to discover more. In the ego, it looks like just a natural conversation. But because there's something behind that, it pushes them in their soul. What is that feeling of presence that I feel in that natural speech? And it goes out. So it looks natural. But it's not hiding my soul in a fortress, and you should stop hiding your soul in a fortress. I hope you understand what I mean. Okay? Are you authentic? We are addressing this week the 5th Kuji-In, Kai. And the mantra of Kai is Om Nama. Nama in the dictionary means I salute, I bow to, it's a salutation. But in the bija, it's an acknowledgement of something you express, okay? I acknowledge whatever follows the Nama, okay? Or whatever, sometimes Nama is at the end of the mantra. So Om Nama, I'm going to acknowledge something of a high level of spirituality because there's Om. Om Nama is an acknowledgement of something that exists profoundly. Okay? Om Nama Samanta. Samanta is not the name of a beautiful woman. Okay? It's not a name that's supposed to inspire sexy moves in a disco bar. Samanta is a Sanskrit word that means which is in everything. Okay? It means all-pervading. It is something inside the substance of the matrix. It is powerfully and present. We feel it like something that takes us. Sam, which is everything, Anta, Samanta, is this all-pervading something. And you acknowledge that. Om Namah Samanta. And you acknowledge that this thing you want to acknowledge is within everything. It's not limited to a single ego hiding a soul. It's in everything. But what is this thing that pervades all things. Om Namah Samanta Vajranam Ham. Okay? Vajranam. What I experience of the Vajra. You know, usually Nam has to do with me, what I feel. Okay? My experience of the Vajra, now I acknowledge, is within everything that I'm conscious of. I acknowledge that. Om Namah Samanta Vajranam. Everything that is virtuous, everything that is in a state of righteousness, I acknowledge that is in everything. So even your own soul is not limited to your own little ego. Your soul can belong to everyone, can pervade everything. You're not limited to your fortress. But it's not sufficient to do the mantra. You have to be opened. If someone is ready to communicate, go ahead and communicate at the level that the other inspires it. And if someone opens up saying, I'm so happy, well, you say, I'm so happy that you are happy, because it's a wonderful feeling. And if someone says, I'm so sad, someone just opened up to tell you that they didn't feel good. Maybe they'll say, oh, I feel fine in you, and they would answer, well, life goes on. They just told you that they didn't feel that happy and they just endure life. So you could, throw something. When someone tells me something discouraging, such as, well, life goes on, I answer something that looks like, it's inspired in the moment, but it could be, well, we all have our load of suffering. And when we go through it, we all have our load of happiness too. And they would go, yeah, that's true. But inside them it changed. Something happened. They heard it from someone who is enlightened or on the process of being enlightened. They were touched. Okay? So are you authentic? Are you taking every little opportunity to throw in a little phrase that will sow a seed of consciousness? The mantra is not enough. Om Namah Samanta Vajranam Ham. The mantra is not enough. Of course, sometimes you just don't feel like it, so don't do it. I understand. But if you're always hiding in your fortress of shame of being a spiritual person, are you really acknowledging oneness? If you want to experience oneness, you have to start with the people around you, to experience small-scale opportunities of unity, of communion. Then there will be oneness. When communion is never-ending, and it's not you and something else, it's just the one, you have to start with a little communion. And a little communion is not just to give the body and the blood of Christ. It is to remember for a moment, for an instant, I'm one with the other. Just like that. And that's it. And you don't have to try to go and direct the conversation towards spirituality, because that is control and that is arrogant. Simply assume the responsibility. Be responsible of your spiritual process, your spiritual path, where you will accept, I am a spiritual person, and I will share it at the level that the others are ready to share it. And when someone's open up, you go in, they opened up. They're asking for that. They're not asking to be harassed by someone doing propaganda about their religion. They're asking to be taught at the level of gentle compassion. And this is what you do. So are you authentic? Or do you hide? Are you always doing your spiritual process for yourself? Did it ever occur to you that you might be doing your spiritual process for everyone to benefit? Because as you progress, others will be affected positively to find happiness. Om Namah Samanta Vajranam Ham. What is this Ham at the end of this mantra? It is the expression in the world of Divine Mother. Express it. Don't keep it hidden inside. Hum. Yes, I will express it. I will smile. Unless you're really depressed and you need to be isolated, of course, respect yourself in your various personal states, your various mood swings. But if you are happy and you keep it for yourself, you're actually preventing the happiness to develop. There's not enough space inside here, the little cage here. There's not enough space for happiness to grow. It has to grow outwards. Gently, with no arrogance, with no propaganda. But then again, I say no propaganda. Are you hiding? Hiding is not good. As much as propaganda is not good. It's not promoting compassion. Propaganda is trying to impose your opinion of spirituality on others. But hiding is as damageable for society than propaganda. If you hide your spirituality, you're not allowing people to know there is a way out of hell. And there is a way into a state of happiness. Open up when it's time. I'm going to make a parenthesis. If you ever meet a psychotic freak, paranoiac, schizophrenic, mentally ill person, will just start to talk to you, blah, 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 and not stop. Find an expedient mean to stop. If you see that these people are too stuck in their thing, that they cannot benefit from your help. But don't be in too much a haste to cut that conversation. Maybe these people really need to hear a few compassionate words. Okay? But it happened sometime for me in the past, when someone would come and not even listen to my expression of happiness, would not even be open to the fact that I'm very happy and I might share with them about this experience. And they would just talk and talk and talk and change subject, and mentally ill, unfocused people, if it's not your role or your responsibility to save them from that, well, cut the conversation with no arrogance, but not too much delay. Assume, be responsible of your communication. Don't waste your time when it's useless. Okay. But other than that situation, if someone benefits from your conversation, if someone benefits from your presence, do it. And of course, if you're at the cashier, you can't just start talking with the cashier, because some people in line can be waiting. But if no one is in line, you can take 30 seconds to allow this radiation to other people to affect. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that in society, in your everyday work, you have a gazillion of opportunities to have a positive effect on people. Are you authentic? Are you really being the spiritual being that you're supposed to be? And if your boss doesn't want you to take time to talk to people, well, don't. But on your free time, when you're not at work, and you're in society, and you're with friends, and sometimes with family, and sometimes with strangers, why are you ashamed to speak to strangers? Aren't you happy that in a certain way you found a teacher, either me or someone else, with whom you could learn this spiritual art? And sometimes it started with the mundane, hi, how are you? I'm good, and you? Oh, I'm very happy. My life is an experience of happiness as much as it was hell only a few years ago. You can say this, and if they don't want to hear about it, they'll just say, okay, that's one of the guys we have to ignore. Okay, they'll go, they'll act in a way to tell you if they're available or not. But you just say one little thing that opens up the door. And if they want to say, you've been in hell, like suffering and everything. Yeah, oh, I've been depressed a lot, I understand you. And some people will start and open up. it's not your task to save the world. I'm not telling you that you have to start roaming around the streets to speak to random people and try to engage conversation to make them know this happiness you have. No. I'm telling you that most of you are hidden in a cage of shame where you would not even dare open up your heart when someone requires it or asks for it. Do you understand that? Okay? So, are you truthful to your spiritual path? Okay? Do you bring this light to other people, pretending that you're not? Or are you hiding? That's important, okay? Om Namah Samanta Vajranam Ham is an attitude of acknowledging there is a spiritual experience in everything and in everyone. Because Vajra Nam, the way I experience righteousness, Vajra, the ungraspable presence of self as divine, it is in everything, in every situation, in every opportunity, in every person. Am I hiding behind the mantra and the mudra? Or am I accepting that there can be a nice conversation, a nice collaboration, a nice communication? A lot of you could not speak of spirituality to your parents, would not even dare speak to your parents about how they feel. Find a way to speak at the level that they can listen, and do it. They're doing it. You have to. You have to. If you want everyone to find happiness, you have to. Now, like in everything, people who don't want to be saved, people who don't want to be helped, why waste your time? But for whoever would be available to talk to you, why would you not take the time to do it? Only yesterday someone told me an experience where this woman could never talk to her father about certain things. But now she decided to talk to her father in a very mundane way. Oh, I'm going to go into a trip or something. And usually this father is extremely anxious and insecure, and at that point the father just say, oh, I'm not afraid for you, go ahead. This person, her father, went from total insecurity to the state of having a bit of trust in himself and in another. Because in the last 2 years, sometimes this girl took the time to talk to her father. If you take the time, even if it doesn't show like if it's worth anything, your effect, your level of consciousness affects the people around you. And at one point, your parents, your friends, your co-workers, people that seem to be completely blocked out of all that, will open up and will start to have these experiences of self-trust and faith and comfort and security that they had lost somewhere in hell. Okay? You have to do it. Om Namah Samanta Vajranam Ham. Everyone loves the mantra except the little ham at the end, which is go ahead and express it. And this expression doesn't have to be through words. It has to be done. But it can be just in the way you talk and walk and be and breathe in public and just silent, just doing a little thing, and accept that the light that you are will affect others. Okay? You have to open up. If you do not open up, how can you see the truth as it is? If your mind is closed behind a prison, how could your mind be conscious of the truth? The reality beyond your perception of reality. What is the truth beyond what you seem to perceive of the truth of the manifested world? Okay? In the avatar process, we speak of the truth. The truth is an empowered reality. we say Sat. Sat is S, the fact that it is strong. It doesn't mean, S does not mean power. S means intense, supported, straight. And sometimes that is power. Bam! You know, intensity. In this case, Sat means a very well-standing system that is unaffected. So Sat, because of the T, is like this pillar in the world. Sat, S is the pillar and T is the world. Okay, the fact, the thing that is there, simply. So we say Sat in Sanskrit is truth. And truth in the Sanskrit word does not mean if you are accurate or not. It means this empowered state of being. That is the truth, Sat. Okay? I have to move my cursor from time to time, or else my screen goes black. Breathe. Sat is the truth, the pure state of being. Are you ashamed of that? We will say also Chitta. Chitta is mind. Chitta is not only the intellectual mind. The intellect is Manasa in Sanskrit. Okay? Chitta is the mind, everything that is not physical matter. So it is the heart that feels. It is the mind that thinks. It's all of that together. Your psychic existence. Okay? Your psychology as a whole. Your ego. Chitta. And the truth is mind. We say Sat Chitta. Sat, this empowered state. Chitta is your mind. So Sat Chitta is a way to say that your mind is in a state of truth. We will also add the word Ananda. Ananda is the state of bliss. Okay? Ananda means what is not with form. What is formless? What is experience when there's nothing else to experience? Nanda is the concept of a shape, of a form, of something that is manifested. Ananda is the unmanifested experience of what I have inside, which is not the physicality, it is what I am. Ananda, we say it's bliss, actually it's whatever remains when there's nothing else. To be unblissful, okay? Ananda, bliss. The various ways of experiencing the form from the point of view of the non-manifested. Ananda. So the word Satchitananda is a blissful state of mind that comes from being in a state of truth. Authenticity. To be authentic. Satchitananda. And Satchitananda is the three characteristics we give to someone who is enlightened. State of truth, of mind, of bliss. Where truth in the mind is blissful. Okay? Well, enlightened people are not in a constant state of explosive bliss. Satchitananda can be a soft breeze that is constant, and sometimes it's a strong wind that convects in your being. Its various states. We will add the bija Aim, which is the bija mantra of Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom. But the true wisdom is not the knowledge you have that makes you look intelligent to other people. Wisdom is what you have gained out of an experience. The consciousness that arises from experience that allows you to understand life. That is wisdom. Wisdom is not being very intelligent. Wisdom, to be wise, is to have a good understanding of the experience of life, of the truth. Okay? So we acknowledge the intense state of our mind, which is unmanifested, blissful in, experienced in the form. We acknowledge that through the avatar mantra, Om Namah Satchitananda Aim. Okay? To acknowledge that there is a state of truth that is blissful when our mind is absorbed in the simplicity of just being there in authenticity. And to be authentic necessarily is to be simple. Okay? Simplicity. When you're complicated, your mind is not in a state of truth, and your mind is certainly not in a state of bliss. Okay? It is important sometimes in the management of our new society's rules to be complicated, apparently at least, or to accumulate a lot of simple things to make one big pile that seems to be one complicated thing. But the fact is, once you're done with your management, go back to a state of simply being there joyfully, authentic. Om Namah Satchitananda Aim. Om Namah Satchitananda Aim. Om Namah Satchitananda Aim. You will see for yourself, you will experience for yourself how wonderful it is to not be hidden in your fortress anymore. And although you're not shouting on the corner of a street that you have this extreme power of God which is to be in a state of bliss, you will not be doing propaganda and bothering people who don't want to hear about what you experience. But you will be authentic, allowing to touch those who want to be affected in their heart by your light. And you will also stay politically correct and pretend you're just having a normal conversation with someone. But just for fun, when I go book a room at a hotel while I travel, at some point I say, I'm sorry, I didn't understand your last phrase, I drove all day. The goal is not, I'm not playing a game. If I didn't understand, but I'll say why, you know. And they, most of the time say, oh, you drove all day, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Quebec. What are you doing in Texas or in Kentucky or something? Oh, I'm going to give a conference on how to be happy and stop suffering. I just say it like that. And 2 days ago, we actually engaged a conversation with the two butlers at the front desk of the hotel, how to get over a heartbreak. And this person was helped, and I know that this person will still suffer heartbreaks because she's in that experience. But next time she will go and sink into the suffering and accept to detach faster. I've seen it. I know. Because I've been authentic. I've not been propagating everything. Oh, I drove all day, but I'm happy to be here. You see, you, behind the counter, you make me happy right now because you're going to give me a key to my kingdom of bliss, which is the bed I'm just renting, okay? Just say what you have to say and look like a fool if you must, especially in front of a hotel butler who doesn't care usually if you look like a fool because you're just going to be away 2 minutes afterwards. Sometimes it opens up to opportunities or conversations, okay? Now, my mission in life is to keep touching a few people like this. Maybe your mission in life is not to do that. So, without bothering people in a very important state of respect, go ahead and talk about these things, and the more people find you interesting while you talk, the more you'll be addressing directly the experience of being happy, and you've been very sad and stuck and mentally ill or whatever in the past, and now you finally broke out of it. Sometimes on sick people I say, I understand pain, I understand you. I had fibromyalgia for many years, which is incurable, but I cured it. And the doctors don't understand why, but I mean, I understand pain. And if they want to know how you cured fibromyalgia, usually they ask, how did you do that? Oh, I use a completely crazy method. Wow, it was like completely wild, but it worked, so I did it. And I still don't say the trick, I just say it's completely crazy and wild. And they want to know more. Yeah, well, what is it? And it starts a conversation on using the 5 elemental mantras, the basic mantras of the 5 elements, to get rid of illnesses. Some illnesses can be get rid of by simply the practice of elements. You know? So I guess one of the keys of this week is, are you ashamed of having a soul? Are you ashamed of existing in spirituality? Are you ashamed of being in love with God? Are you ashamed of existing and not be like others? Maybe you'd rather become a zombie again so they would not see you to be so different. You would want to be gray again so they do not see you as colorful. Breathe. Are you afraid of your enlightenment? I know how Tara deals with that. He's very respectful, and when he sees a ghost in the house, he says, huh, strange, I just saw something. Like I felt like if someone was there. Anyway, and he goes on to his thing. And sometimes these people say, sometimes we think there's a ghost in here. And Tara says, well, it is a ghost, of course. It's inoffensive, but it's there. And then he starts to talk for half an hour about spirituality. He was supposed to sign a contract on financial products. But he just gave a comment and went back to his work. So if people didn't want to hear about the random thing that happened, they don't. And if they want to talk about this, they will open up. Okay, there's a way to open up. Now, it's not a mission where you have to force people to open up. No, never do that. But stop hiding. If you're happy that you could meet someone who would teach you that, would you not be happy for others to have the same opportunity if you allow yourself to be opened? Oh, I'm a spiritual person. I'm Buddhist. Or I'm a spiritualist. In some situation, I don't say I'm a Buddhist priest. I say I'm a philosopher. And I speak of happiness and suffering in life. Ah, philosopher. Ah, that's interesting. You must be intelligent. Oh, I have only my high school. I just like to speak a lot. Breathe. Speaking of the shame of spirituality, speaking of the shame of existing as you are, let us consider the 5th Siddhi, Prapti. The 5th Siddhi, P-R-A-P-T-I, Prapti. It means to accomplish something, to reach a goal, to reach your goals. It is a Siddhi of great power. Thank you, Tara, for writing it, for the people in the chat board. To accomplish what you really have to accomplish, you need to know what accomplishes born from. Okay? And like every other Siddhi of Vishnu, Prapti has a contemplation to look at. You have been doing Lagima last week to get light, to allow this desire to move you onwards. Now, if through Lagima your feeling of what you are drives you and brings you into the energy of spirituality, now with Prapti you will be able to focus and accomplish whatever you want. Okay? And this is the most wonderful contemplation in the Siddhi teachings. We say for the fifth Siddhi, we contemplate that our ego is born from the Christ, from the Vishnu, from the Buddha. The ego is the result of spirit. In Hindu tradition we say Ahankara, which is the ego, the name for ego. Ahankara comes from Vishnu. My ego was created by the Christ, by the Buddha, by the great consciousness which is not individualized. My ego comes from the result of the Creator. The Father of all things, Brahma, Heya, created all things. And this universe condensed and became my ego, my ability to want, my ability to drive, my ability to go towards. This is issued from God. Prapti means I can achieve whatever I want because me as an ego is the fruit of divinity. Prapti. Do you see this fifth Siddhi, how close it is to the idea of authenticity? I, as a self, am divine. My ego is the fruit of a holy tree that grows in heaven. Prapti. I will accomplish everything. I am born from spirit, not from flesh. Okay? Maybe you will see the link between all these states of the Kuji-In, the avatar process, and the Siddhi. With the mudra, the fingers intertwined softly. Om Namah Samanta Vajranam Ham. 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 And breathe and feel this acknowledgement that this spiritual entity that you believe to be, that divinity is in all things, and through everyone's experience you can find it. Om Namah Samanta Vajranam Ham. I acknowledge the all-pervading experience of Vajra, and I will radiate it, I will express it, I will shine it. Om Namah Samanta Vajranam Ham. I will stand firm in a state of righteousness, keeping my mind simple, and that is wise. Om Namah Satchitanandayim. I acknowledge the true state of my mind is a soft bliss issued from wisdom. Om Namah Om Namah Satchitanandayim. You can undo the mudra of Kuji-In now. Om Namah Satchitanandayim. Om Namah Satchitanandayim. Om Namah Satchitanandayim. And when Sat with the final T is next to a Chit in the Sanskrit grammar, the T becomes a D. Sad-Chit-Ananda. It makes it easier for the speech. It also means that it becomes a D as a form. It is an empowerment of form and not necessarily the empowerment of structure of the world. Sad-Chit-Ananda. It's just to be there, consciously in a state of self, appreciating the wisdom of experience. Om Namah Sad-Chit-Ananda Aim. Om Namah Sad-Chit-Ananda Aim. Authenticity. Om Namah Sad-Chit-Ananda Aim. Om Namah Sad-Chit-Ananda Aim. Om Namah Sad-Chit-Ananda Aim. Contemplate. I am, as a soul and as an ego, issued from spirit. I am a fruit of God, prapti, and because of this I can accomplish everything, prapti. I can realize, attain ascension and self-realization, prapti. I can accomplish myself, prapti. I'm born from spirit, so I will grow to become spirit. The same way a body born from flesh will become a grown-up, a man or a woman with a life of its own. I am born from spirit, so I will become accomplished, prapti. I will reach every goal I set my mind on. But these goals will not be the goals of the ego, they will be the goals of self-accomplishment. Prapti. I can do whatever I want because I am born from spirit. Prapti. 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 Breathe and relax. Now when I tell you, you can accomplish everything, do not use this Siddhi to go instead of power and control, manipulation, and the arrogance, I can do whatever I want. No. It is not a Siddhi of egocentrism. It is a Siddhi of accomplishment of the soul through the ego. It means it will help you accomplish all that you want to discover through every project you have, every little human desire, you will be allowed to have them. Set your mind on something and there will be a way for your soul to accomplish yourself in that. As you evolve spiritually, everything will be given to you. That is the supreme power of prapti, to reach your goals. But if you want your soul to help you reach your goals, you have to come out of the cage. You have to free yourself from the prison of the ego and be authentic. And prapti will help you achieve that state. By contemplating, if I am created from divinity, I can only be wonderful. I am a marvelous, extraordinary being. I am issued from divinity. I am child of God. I am a tree that was sowed by the Buddha. Prapti will help you find the sense of the true accomplishment of wisdom inside you and through your experience outside. Spirituality, we spend lots of time looking inside. Of course we spend a lot of time looking inside. But all this work looking inside is only to balance out the fact that you've been outside of yourself for so long. But the truth is, inside is all of that around you. That's also inside. It's not limited. We are all born from divinity. We are all issued from a divine state of being. So the first thing we do is acknowledge this all-pervading consciousness in everything. And accept to be in relationship, to be in a relationship, to communicate with that. Om Namah Samanta Vajra Ham. And to contemplate the simple state of being, to keep our mind in a stable, simple self. Satchitananda I am. Observing the wisdom that is born from experience. Whatever comes from experience, that this wisdom will be absorbed in you. Om Namah Satchitananda I am. And to acknowledge everything will be accomplished when I acknowledge my ego. What I am, me, is the result of a spiritual desire of self-realization. I am from God. Prapti. Everything will be accomplished. Everything will be realized. Everything will be perfectly done. Every goal will be reached. The goals that you set yourself as human, unless there's karmic hindrance, they will be accomplished. The goals that you had set yourself already as a soul, they will be accomplished. The only goal that exists in the universe, which is the emancipation of consciousness in through an incarnate being, that will be accomplished. Okay? Stand up for your spirituality. Stop hiding. Be authentic. And to be authentic is to be simple and humble and open and truthful. It is not to hide. It is not to overexpose either. It is just to be there and do it. Okay? Okay. Breathe.